For many people, the concept of faith is kind of nebulous and sometimes hard to grab. Well, I want to add some concrete to it based on the first verse of Hebrews 11. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith has content to it. It's not vague. The issue of faith has to do with the object that you're trusting in, not so much the amount of faith that you have. And the way you know that you are operating by faith is by the movement of your feet. In other words, faith is reflected in motion, in action. Faith is acting like God is telling the truth. It's acting like it is so, even when it's not so, in order that it might be so, simply because God said so. And the way you concretize faith, the way you know it's real, is don't look at your feelings first, because they change all the time. Look at your feet first. How am I moving? Am I operating in obedience to God? When you look at the hall of faith, you'll find a person, you'll find what they did, and then you'll see what God did based on what they did. So you'll see the movement of God in response to faith, because faith is a critical mechanism to experience and see the supernatural enter into the realm of the natural. So, faith is substantive, but it deals with what you do not see yet. Once you exchange and put sight before faith, it's no longer faith because you have sight. Faith is anticipating what you're looking forward to, what your expectations are. The biblical word for that is hope. And when you and I learn to expect from God and move in sync with God through obedience to God, which is faith, then we get to see more of God in our everyday life circumstances. Faith does not force God to do what God never planned to do, but what faith does is access what God has already planned to do when He sees we're trusting in Him to do it. So the question we all have to ask is, am I doing what God has asked me to do in light of my expectation of what I want God to do in and through me and my circumstance? Faith is so important to the program and plan of God that the Bible makes it clear that the absence of faith can block God. In other words, the absence of faith can cause God not to do what He intended to do, because if it's something that is conditional to faith, He's waiting on faith before He does what He's determined to do based on the fulfillment of that condition. Now, if you want to know how to grow your faith, grow the size of God. The bigger God is to you, the easier it is to trust Him. The smaller God is, the harder it is to trust Him. So you don't grow your faith by going faith hunting. You grow your faith by coming to know God better, because then you can have greater confidence in Him for the realities of life. Faith is not merely event, it's supposed to be a lifestyle. So let's grow our lifestyle of faith so that we can see more of God in our daily choices, actions, and expectations. There's a lot more He's ready to do when He knows we are trusting Him to do it.